Hello everyone, and welcome back to Chess Club. My name is Noel, and I'm here, finally, with our Silvie Slime Sovereign deck profile. We've been running this deck for the entirety of the MRC format, and we think that it is absolutely crazy. When the cards are first revealed, Pickle Sword looked at them and said, "These cards are crazy, we're going to be playing this deck." And it didn't take too long for him to convince us that these cards are crazy, and we were going to be playing this deck. Throughout the entirety of the format, we've gotten multiple regional invites, multiple Star Championship wins. 4 of us just made top 32 Ascent Chicago. 3 of us then which converted on to the top 8 at Chicago. So we think we found a pretty good list of the deck. A lot of people have been using our list as kind of like a starting point for their list, and but we still think, even after looking at the list from Chicago, that this is the way to play slimes. And then a lot of people we asked about, like, what about the change of the Stone Skill Band? How does that affect the deck? Long story short, it doesn't. The deck is still good. We don't really even need to change the list at all. You just have to be a bit more careful about how you play with Stone Skill Bands, but the deck's still really good, everyone. So yeah, we're going to get into this. Also, as a cool comment, I think it's awesome that all of the prize card arts this season were done by Han Chu. They look amazing. Huge shout out to Han Chu. Wonderful artwork. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's get into the deck profile. I also want to say, I just said good. Regardless, this deck was not made by me. This deck was made by Pickle Sword. He is the architect of it. A lot of people have referred to this as like Noel's slime list or anything. Please do not call it that. If you want to call it Chess Club's slime deck, sure, because that still gives credit to Pickle Sword, but it's Pickle Sword's deck. We all worked on it. We helped refine it. Pickle Sword's deck. All right, so we are running Spirit of Slime, and the reason for that we're running Slime, we think it's the best way to play the deck. None of the other elements, well, let me reset. What you get from Spirit of Slime is better than what you get from any of the other elements. Specifically, having access to both Baby Gray Slime and Gather Slimes, you can't do in any other deck, and we think that that is worth everything else that any other element can give you. Like Wind gives you Dream Fairy. Fire gives you Creative Shock Formation Ritual. We don't think that that is worth giving up Gather Slimes and or Baby Green Slime. And, I mean, we also run Baby Red Slime, but that's kind of because we can with Spirit Slime, but the reason we do it is for Baby Green Slime and Gather Slime. So those cards are really good. You have premium interaction and premium filtering plus health buffer. Don't want to give either of those up. So the Wild Whisperer, she's the only level 1 Sylvie, so we have to run her. She's also quite good, giving a buff counter to the next animal or beast you play. We are running 1 card simply to take advantage of that buff counter, but otherwise it doesn't really matter what gets the buff counter. It just lets you trade favorably to allies and helps you stick your animal on board for Sylvie level 2. Again, the only level 2 that there is, we have to play her, but she's quite good. Draw a card from, if you have an animal and draw a card from a beast, you basically never draw 2 with her effect, but you very often draw 1, probably at least half your games. And that's really powerful because it means that any ally you play with her goes neutral, and then if that ally already went neutral, you go +1. And thinking about influence or level 3 deck is extremely important, and if you're not thinking about plays in terms of -1 neutral +1 and you're playing level 3 deck, I recommend start doing so. It really transforms just kind of like the way you play the deck and the lines you make and how you go about deck building as well. Part of the reason Sylvie is so good is because everything in the deck goes neutral, or at least the way we have it built is to everything go neutral, so you just always have good influence. So yeah, Sylvie level 2 is great, and then there's also some like cool things to do with her with like a card with floating memory. Normally a card with floating memory on board is a -1 until they kill it, but with her it becomes neutral no matter what. They kill it and it's float and you level up, or they don't kill it and you draw a card back, which is great. And then Sylvie level 3, she's the reason that the slime deck works by giving you access to all the advanced element slimes, so that already, like, you have to play her. She's also just good in general beyond that. Her on-enter effect is kind of the next slime ally you play. This lets you do more with your turn so you hit level 3. Because often you like DG up, you have 3 cards left in hand. You can still then play double slime as long as you're going to Ethereal Slime. Because you play Ethereal, you go to 2, you draw a card back to 3, and then you can play that slime card. And that's just really, really good. Just letting you do more. And the buff counters matter a lot, just for making that first Ethereal Slime you play at 5/5 instead of 3/3. 5/5 stealth true sight's really hard to out, and it's just quite good. So there's the lineage. We then run these next two broken tarot cards. Stone Scale Band and Guy's Blessing. These cards make the deck work the way it works. So a lot of people think about Slimes as like an advanced element ally deck, which it literally is, but it's not in the sense of like when people refer to allies as a deck. Allies is like an aggro archetype, in that Slimes doesn't really fill. It's there to think about the decks. We like to describe it as a combo toolbox deck, because you have your combo kill potential of Stone Skill Band and Guy's Blessing alongside then Storm Slime. Band fuels Guy's Blessing then fuels Storm Slime, and now you just kill them with Storm Slimes. That's how the deck is combo. Toolbox, you just have a lot of utility, you have a lot of searching for it. Combo Toolbox, it's a kind of a known archetype in a lot of games. But think about the deck in that way of like, oh, we're playing to filter through our deck, build to this combo, kill the opponent quickly. We're not trying to be like a mid-range grind deck. You are a mid-range grind deck against some matchups, but that's kind of like playing to your role in the matchup of like who's the beatdown basically. So yeah, these cards crazy, absolutely insane. We knew they were good the moment they were printed, the moment we first read them. Stone Skill Band came out in like November or whatever the last year. We knew this card was crazy. Just finally took the deck that could really exploit them. We now have Horn and Beast Calling. This card is just a great extender card. It just lets you do more with the turn. Just you tuck it under a Grail, you basically get +3 influence to the turn, because by banish card from memory and then drawing a card, it's sort of like adding a card, quote unquote, from memory to hand. And then it reduces the next slime you play by 3. Or the next beast that you play by 3. That's normally just 2 cost advanced element slime, so you effectively get +3 influence from it. Quite good. So from an influence standpoint, it's the same thing as like grailing your Stone Scale Band, basically. So grailing Horn's usually better than grailing Bands. Verdant Scepter. This card is very, very good in grindy matchups, particularly with the Mirror. It's really good against like Nico. It's pretty good against Tristan. You can also use it with Grail to be a Stifle Dodger against mostly Tristan, which is really nice. This card's just crazy good. I mean, I've seen that about like every card so far. Newsflash, the Terra Regalia are crazy good. Like no other deck plays 5 advanced element Regalia. Like Luxem plays 2. Ensol plays 3 prismatic, or it played 3 because it had prismatic and avarice and Karn went in, but like Merlin plays Majestic Spirit and Prismatic Edge, and that's it. Like nothing plays 5 advanced element cards except for Slimes, and it's because the Terra Regalia is just that good. This is just a premier grind card. These are great combos and play extenders. Covenant of Thorns is the best defensive Regalia in the game. You stick it on a dude, and then you can't die until they out the dude, which can be pretty hard when you have it protected by a bunch of Taunters. You can stick it under Grail, so that then it's really hard to actually, like, you can then save the Covenant for when they actually have to go for a kill shot, and you eat the entire kill shot. It's like a spell shield where they can out it with just like a little ping damage. So this card's really good. Yeah. And then our last Tamer Regalia, so our 6th Tamer Regalia, is then the Beast Spawn Boots. We want to have tons of options for our Ethereal Slime. This is what you normally banish because these cards are too good. You kind of just want Tamer Regalia that you can just throw away in most matchups. The reason you store on Boots, though, instead of any other one is just because you do sometimes want that Spell Shroud, like Merlin, the Mirror, and Rye. It's pretty good. And then using those matchups, you have to banish either Horn or your Scepter. Like in the Mirror, you almost always banish Horn. Against Merlin, you almost always banish Scepter, things like that. But yeah, so that's all of that. Then we run Quicksilver Grail. Again, another crazy Regalia. Like this deck has the best material deck, like highest power material deck cards of basically any deck in the game. It's really crazy. Grail does more for this deck than it did for Luxem, which still kind of blows my mind to think about because it was really good in Luxem. But you will Grail this card, this card, this card, this card, or this card. Like that's you have 5. Like in Luxem, in a video I talked about Luxem, like you had 3 or 4 good Grail targets for it that you would Grail pretty often. In this deck you have 5, and that is pretty crazy. You don't. I mean, so it's Generally, you can say grailing these is very similar, and grailing these is very similar. So you have 3 roles that your grail can fill. But even then, it can be a plague. Grail can be a plague extender. Grail can be resource extender, basically. Like just timing your scepter is really good, or it could be a defensive like protection card. Grailing 1-cost regalia is very good because you can control what you banish for it. And also just like what time you want to pull out the card for it is really important. So Grail is just absolutely bonkers in this deck. I know I'm saying that I get every card out here, but it's true. Yeah. And then our last card is Backup Charger because for some reason we get to play 2 Divine Relics now. Why was this card printed? Genuinely wondering that. I do not know. It shouldn't have been printed in my opinion. It is just Grand Crusader's Ring, but not a Divine Relic. Like the 3 reserve cost doesn't really matter because most decks can just easily play for that. And yeah, it's pretty good. So thanks, let me play 2 Divine Relic, I guess. But yeah. Going on to the material deck now. The advanced slimes first. We run 4 Ethereal and 4 Storm Slime. Every slime list runs these for a reason. This is the best play once you hit level 3. Storm Slime is your best kill card. I'm very surprised this card did not go to Category 1. Like, even with the Stone Scale nerf, I'm genuinely think that this card should have also gone to Category 1. I would not be surprised if this card needs a ban in the future. We'll see how they want to kind of keep balancing the deck with either they can keep tweaking Stone Scale bans, but I honestly don't think that like the way that Stone Scale Band fundamentally functions of like cycling cards and then also like even just cycling cards, fueling Guy's Blessing, that fueling Storm Slime as a card advantage engine as well, like it's just so good. And this deck could exist as like a mid-range grind deck, just using like the Ethereal Slimes and your like Lustrous, and then you go like all in on Slime King basically. You don't even like need the Storm Slime for that deck could exist, but Storm Slime just makes it so much better. I'm still kind of surprised that this card isn't even on the watch list. Like I had but I had multiple conversations with Terry, True Streaming Gaming, about like what the problem is, Stone Scale Band or Storm Slime. And he gave me a very convincing argument on why he thought Storm Slime is like the ultimate problem to the deck. Which is basically that if you get rid of Storm Slime, you can still play Slimes. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, tangent, those cards are really good. We run 3 Lustrous Slime. Originally we weren't playing this card. We kind of thought it was just worse than Verdant Slime because Verdant Slime has utility. But then we realized that just like how much extra life this card's give you. Like 3 buff counters, it's a 4/8 that recovers you 3, so that's plus 11 life. 5 buff counters, it's a 6/10 that recovers you 5, so it's 15 extra life. So you play this, it dies, you tuck under a Slime King dies, this comes back, it gets more buff counters. You basically just got like plus 27 life, which is wild. So this card's crazy good in the mirror. It's really good against allies, just like a wall to help stabilize after you start breaking their board. And there's just like this card's really good. Best addition to the deck that we made, basically. We then went up to 2 Slime King. We were playing 1 for a long time, which I thought was pretty good. And I think the way that we were playing that before without Lustrous, 1 Slime King was right. The big thing now though is that we realized that in the mirror you can just like kind of like loop Slime Kings and Lustrous Slimes to just kind of really grind it out. So like we played the mirror match. We were practicing the entire mirror match for the week before Chicago. And we realized that just having access to multiple Slime Kings, multiple Lustrous, just gives you so much value in the mirror. And we just played it for basically a grind game. Like we would almost deck out in the mirror playing against each other. Of just like, oh, we each resolve Slime King like 3 times basically. Because you play it and you escape it back and you keep playing it. And it's just kind of crazy. So yeah, Slime King's really good. And then we run 1 Twilight Slime. Because again, those like board stalls in the mirror, you just need to have this to pull out so that they can't start breaking with Storm Slime. But if you have like Slime King tucking Lustrous and then you have this next to it, it's very hard for your opponent to kill you in the mirror. Like they have to Storm Slime kill this, and then even then, if you can like double Slime Shield to stick it, like keep it alive, then you just win the game on the spot. If you don't, though, they have to Storm Slime kill this. Then they have to Storm Slime shoot you from like 25 to 0. That is like a really big ask, and is especially when you can also have like Gathers and Slime Shields to protect your own life. Just having access to one Twilight Slime in the mirror was very important, but it is clunky, and also like it's really only one for the mirror. Like it's good versus Rye, it's good versus Merlin, sure, but the big thing is we wanted to have access to the one in the mirror because you'll go through your entire deck in the mirror, especially with having access to Songbird, which is the kind of that we'll talk about next. This card is bonkers. I do not understand why people do not like this card. It is playing extra copies of all of these. So many times you'll play Songbird and like filter 10 cards down before you hit a Beast Slime or like a Beast Ally. So one of these, or we play 3 Beasts. We play 3 Norm Beasts in the deck as well. But it doesn't matter if you hit those, or it doesn't matter like you can hit this or you hit Slime King. It's like kind of dead as your like first hit. That's fine. Songbird is still crazy. It's a neutral play. It's a +1 off of Gaia's Blessing, and half the time it hits one of these, which is what you really want to hit. And hitting these is also still really good. Just in the mirror, if you hit any of these, you're happy. This card's crazy. We decided the 4th for the mirror as well because it's just that good. The only reason we don't play 4 in the main is because it is a little bricky early. You just don't want to clunk on Gaia's Songbirds. But this card is so good, and I will never not play this card in the deck. It's my favorite card in the deck, hands down. Songbird is crazy. Again, I keep saying a lot of these cards in the deck is crazy. I'm not exaggerating. These cards are just that good. I don't know why they printed cards that are just this good. Speaking of cards that are this good, this card's insane. We lost it when we read Baby Gray Slime. Like, the first slimes revealed were green, blue, and baby green, baby blue, and baby red. And we're like, these are really good. And we read the advancement on slimes. And then they released Baby Gray Slime, and we just couldn't believe it. We were dumbfounded that they printed this card. It's so good. It is a neutral card with Intercept. And, like, okay. When we played Luxem, we love Juggle Knives. And people would like cut Juggle Knives without realizing how important the deck it was. But, like, just 2-cost draw card is really good. 2-cost draw card on an ally is insane. Giving that ally Intercept is just... why? Like, you don't need it. This could have been 2-cost, imbuing 2 slimes, on enter, drawn a memory. It could literally be Windmill Engineer for slimes, and it would still be a 4 of. We would run 8 of that card if we could. It doesn't need Intercept, it doesn't need to draw to hand, and why is it also not imbue? Like, we printed imbue for this set, it's the cool new keyword, and instead it's just on enter, reveal 2 slime cards to your hand or memory. Like, you don't even have to put 2 down. Blows my mind. This card is insane. Like, this is... I could talk for a long time about Baby Gray Slime. I could also talk for a long time about Baby Green Slime. This card's also crazy. Like, they printed such high-powered cards to this deck, which is good. Like, Silvie was really bad before. Silvie was really bad, and they said, okay, we're going to make Silvie good. And they just went all out. And I still, like, it's good. I'm a bit worried about power creep, genuinely, from slimes. Like, the cards are such high power. Zephyr's already, like, one of the best interaction pieces in the game, and we got Zephyr on an ally that has synergy with our other stuff. Like, and they printed Forest Cake, so this card can go neutral, and it can go neutral with Silvie too. So with both Cake and Silvie 2, it's a +1. Lake Unit's a premier interaction piece. It's really important in the mirror, which is part of why I never wanted to cut it, because you need to, or like go to Fire Slimes, because you need this in the mirror to suppress their Covenant. Into Tristan, you can suppress their Shadow's Claw. You can, I should tell them anything you want to suppress in Tristan. But like into Diana, you just win because you can continuously suppress their gun. Into, I don't know, like against Nico, you can suppress their weapons, I guess. Like, this card just does so much. Into Firezander, this card wins the matchup because you just completely suppress their dagger. Or if they go for Assassin's Ripper, you just suppress the Ripper. If they go for a Rending Line, like, this card's crazy. And you can pseudo-search it because of Gather Slimes and Blissful Calling. It's wild. This card is so good. We then run 4 Baby Red Slime. It's this slime I actually think was well designed. I mean, it's Hasty Messenger on theme for the deck, which is really good. It's a 2/1, so that's also really good. But it draws to memory. Because it draws to memory, I think it's balanced, and it's only a 1 health base. If it was a 2 health base, it would be... If it was a 1/2, like Hasty was, this card would be crazy. A 2/1 is actually much more balanced, though, because it's very easy to remove. It doesn't have buff counter, just dies to anything. Even with the buff counter, only has 2 health, so it just dies to anything anyways. This line was well designed. These cards are pushed. Limitless Slime. This card's also... This card's good. I think it's well designed. I like this design a lot, actually. There's a lot of really cool things about it. Going neutral, like I talked about with Silvie level 2, you just play it, they kill it, it's float. If they don't kill it, you draw a card. That's pretty good. Late game, this card can get out of hand. It's actually like one of the better slimes to play with your silly buff counters if you don't have Ethereal Slime. Because then it comes down as a 4/5 and then attacks to become a 5/6. That's already pretty beefy. And if it attacks next turn as a 6/7, it just gets out of control. So like at the online regionals, in the mirror, I'd be like, okay, I just kept playing Limitless Slimes, and I was just beating them down. I had like 2 Limitless Slimes and Ethereal Slime on board. I was like beating them down with it. It was kind of crazy. Limitless is really good late game. It's good early game. This card's good. Let's go with Baby Red as a float to pitch so that Baby Red goes neutral. Yeah, just good stuff all around. We don't play Baby Blue because it's -1. We were playing it originally because like it's good with Cake as a 3/5 on Silvie level 1, but why would we play a level like a -1 that's good that requires Cake when someone play Ordinary Bear, which is a 3/4, which is basically as good as a 3/5. Like it's not quite as good, it's basically as good as a 3/5. That is a beast instead. This is where actually being a beast matters for Ordinary Bear, because you can play this and then play a Baby Gray Slime on Silvie level 1. So this is a 3/4 float. They either kill it and its float goes neutral, or they don't kill it and it's a beast, you draw a card from it. And then also, because it's a beast on ally or on animal, you can also still get a draw off of your Baby Gray Slime or your Baby Gray or Green normally. Which is pretty good. So yeah, Bear is the only way you can actually threaten draw 2, really. I mean, it's the only non-advanced beast in the deck we play, so like obviously it's the only way. But you can play this, and sometimes they just like can't clear it. Like in the mirror, sometimes you just have awkward hands. Their only lines like to play a Baby Gray and pass, or like play a Baby Green. And now this goes neutral, and there's a 3/4 that starts swinging every turn. You can end step play a Baby Green, suppress your Cake, and draw an extra card. Now you went +1 off, or yeah, you went +1 from the Baby Gray or Baby Green. Sorry, and then you went neutral from the Bear, and you're just this card's crazy. So just from this card's crazy from the influence lines it presents for being a beast with float, and then also as a 3/4 into allies, it's the best card in the deck because they either go to clear it and it retaliates and kills one of their dudes. So then that's really good because you went neutral and killed a dude, or they don't go to clear it. Oh, and an 8/4 health for you. Or they don't go to clear it, and now it starts swinging as a 3/4, killing any 2/3 they have, and now it just becomes harder for them to out, and it also still went neutral. So this card was really, really good in the deck, kind of like one of the other best additions we made to it, and we knew it was going to be really good for Chicago, and so we were playing Engineered Slime in the meantime, but this is just way better than Engineered Slime. Way, way better. And the last LA play is for Dungeon Guide. Level 3 deck. This card's crazy. It matters a lot in the mirror. Generally, if the player who goes first draws DG, the player who doesn't go first doesn't draw DG. You are way ahead in the mirror, and you almost just win the spot. Not actually. Like I've had games where I was the player that DG'd first, and then my opponent didn't have DG, and I still lost. And I've had games where I was the one who going second and didn't draw DG, and they did, and I still won. But going first, having DG, your opponent doesn't, is a huge advantage in the mirror because you just get the extra turn at level 3. So you can just like do more, threaten their life total a lot, and just put them into lethal range really easily. So yeah, that's all of the allies. Moving on to the actions, so we get the cards to make this deck even more like a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. We have 4 Gather Slimes and 4 Blissful Calling. Like so, talk about the Spirit of Slime. We want to have access to Gather Slime's addition to Baby Gray or Baby Green, because this in Grand Archive, like there's a good amount of card draw in the game, but there's not like a ton of card draw, and there's not like a ton of cards that filter you very deep in the deck. So having access to Gather Slimes and Blissful Calling, there's just multiple ways to just look at 5 cards down, take the best card from them, and put them on bottom, and you just keep going. So you just get to filter through your entire deck really easily, and that's actually crazy. Like I said, it's like you're playing a Yu-Gi-Oh deck almost, with how much you just get to filter through your deck, find your good cards, and like you're gonna see 2 to 3 Storm Slime every game. You're gonna see 2 to 3 Ethereal Slime. You're gonna see your Songbirds. You're gonna see everything basically, and it's wild just because these pieces let you do that. We were running 3 Blissful for a long time just because of space. It is hard to fit in all of this, but we realized that playing the 4th Blissful, it was sort of like playing the 4th Bear or playing the 4th Songbird, and so it kind of filled both roles. We'll often side one out, just to fill space, but like we wanted the main deck to be as consistent as we possibly could, and Blissful Calling was just the last card to put in there that could really fill that spot. And yeah, no, we want to be consistent. Consistency is the name of the game at a large tournament like Ascent, and just being able to see your pieces consistently all the time is really good. And Blissful is just the best turn one play. So yeah, Cake, the second best turn one play. This card is also blows my mind. Okay, again, cards that are pushed, Gather Slimes. It's Blissful Calling, but wait, like, why does it recover you life? Why? This didn't need to recover. It could spend 2 costs, class when it's fast, reveal a top 5, pick a slime card and add to your hand. Really good, or slime ally. Really good. The fact that also recovers you blows my mind. Forest Cake, also crazy. I'm honestly a little bit in shock that it doesn't have the slime subtype, just because everything else is that pushed. It's good that it doesn't. It'd be insane if it did, but thank you for not giving it the slime subtype as well. Anyways, though, really good card. It filters. I was just saying with Baby Gray a little bit before, 2 cost draw cards really good at filtering through your deck. Doing that, plus also being able to control an animal or beast that you get a buff counter to, is wild. It means you can like play more 3/4 bears. You can buff your ethereal from a 5/5 to a 6/6 so that it beats over your opponent's ethereal in the mirror, or like can't be beaten over your opponent's ethereal in the mirror. I like making my Songbirds 2/3s a lot with it because 2/3s are pretty good. You can buff your Lustrous Slime so it has an extra buff counter, so it recovers your extra life when it dies. Is really good. This card's just really, really, really good. More filter. And then we run 3 Escape Wreckage. This card is also quite good. It is your main option for +1s in the deck. It's a +1 off of any card that you draw from Silvie level 2 with. It's a +1 off of Baby Gray. It's +1 off of Baby Green on Forest Cake. With Silvie level 2 and either of those, it's a +2, which is really nice. So yeah, the reason we don't run 4, because like this card is really good early, but it's not great late. It becomes good again once you get like 6-7 influence and you're able to like make a play and then also like end of your opponent's turn, escape, buy back a Storm Slime or something. But it is still pretty clunky. Escape back your Slime King is really good in the mirror, but it's mostly only good early and really bricky and kind of like dead late. So because of that, we cut the 4th. 3 felt like the right number. I wouldn't go down to 2. I don't think I'd ever go back to 4. 3 felt great. I think the only way, legitimately, I would ever play not Norm Slimes is if Escape didn't exist, because then you would get the option of having Reclaim in the deck. You'd have Reclaim to play instead of this, and that would be enough probably to push you to play Wind. And but still losing Gas Slimes, I would be very sad to do. So I even then, I don't know if I would, but like, it doesn't, don't even worry about it because we have Escape Wreckage, which is really good. So yeah. And then the last part of the main deck, we just have a little bit of utility. 3 Slime Shields. I really wanted to run the 4 Slime Shields. One to fit in the side somewhere. wasn't able to quite make it fit. There wasn't room in the main deck. It's really, really good versus allies. It's quite good in the mirror. But that was mostly it. This card's great. Again, like, we have more cards that are kind of pushed. It's an on-theme deflecting edge, which is kind of wild. This card's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's not crazy. This card's good. This card's really good. It's not crazy. I don't want to call every card crazy, even though most of them are. I don't want to exaggerate and lose credibility, but Him of Guy's Grace. This card's quite good. Yes, it is a little bricky. That's fine. We've run so much consistency in the deck that it's okay to have like this like late game terror card that isn't a slime card. Because it's extremely versatile and it's never dead. Like it's kind of bricking your opening hand, yeah, but like any advanced card is, and I'm comfortable with that. I don't mind having drawing this card early, because it's very flexible late game, because it's using it as like an intercept card basically. Comes up a lot against like Nico and against Tristan, because you force Tristan to also have to have the Shadow Strike, or not Shadow Strike. They have to have the Outlook on board to prevent this, or they have to be holding up an Incapacitate. And that comes up a lot, because we originally signed this card for Tristan, and we just realized that it's actually good in just a lot of matchups. At the Chicago Regional, I got by Garuthos in the mirror because he hemmed a Twilight Slime at fast speed into me to get Spell Shroud to stop my Storm Slime lethal line, and that line's what maybe put him in the main. And that was a really cool line, and kind of just made me start thinking about more ways you can use this card. You can use it as like a sort of like an extra filter option, kind of like Blissful and Escape, or not, Blissful and Gather Slimes, where you just like end of their turn, they pass you, we're holding up 4 cards, you play this, you dig 3 cards deep, you draw a card, you put a slime onto board, you just dig a little bit deeper in your deck to find what you need. And there's also a really cool line you can use with it to out Magistrate, where you level Sylvie level 3. If you have 2, then if you have like this with 2 Ethereal Slimes, you can then respond to that on enter. You can play him, put an Ethereal onto board. The Ethereal effect activates, so you cycle a card because you're still in material phase, so the Magistrate can't stop it. Because with 3/3, go to your turn, or you go through Recollection, you attack and kill the Magistrate with the 3/3 Ethereal Slime. And now you can play your free Ethereal Slime from level 2 effect, and then Sleeve's effect to buff to a 5/5, and draw that card. So that's really good. This card's just very versatile. I don't think I'd cut it from the main deck. And yeah, no, it's just we were siding it, or we moved to the main, and we moved it back to the side, and then we were looking at our cyber plan for Chicago, and we realized that we were bringing this card in against literally every single matchup. The thing was just we were cutting different cards each matchup. We realized we should just put this in the main and put those cards that like we were cutting a little bit differently in the side. So that's how I got back to the main deck. Quite good. I could, depending on the meta, like I could maybe see putting it back to the sideboard, but currently I like it in the main. And lastly, we have the sideboard. We have the worst card that we had to play is Beast Bondiers. So the reason for this card is because of Dusklight Communion. Dusklight Communion was a tech that was found by the Lane Drake team way back near the start of the format. And then at the Chicago Regional, Lane Drake Trevor brought it, and he was playing it in Water Allies. That tech thing we then all saw it, so we at Chess Club saw it, TCG saw it, Nox saw it, other people that were there saw it. And so then it was like, okay, an open secret that was then out. And so I then played the Dusklight Tech at Michigan Regionals on top of that list, and played the Ears in that as well, so that I could play Dusklight and then bounce it back up to level 3. In the sense that we just had to always play Ears in the sideboard because of other decks that can run Dusklight. Tristan can run it super, super easily because they just banish their Shadow Reaver. In reality, or like in practice, no one's playing Dusklight, which I think is kind of a mistake. Like, Dusklight's really good. If your opponent doesn't have the Ears, you just kind of win on the spot. So you force them to have to play Ears, and then they have to side in the Ears. And even then, it forces them to have to materialize the Ears. Like, you make them have to spend that materialization phase for it. And then if you also run ways to like destroy the ears, like if you're running like water, for instance, you can then fracturize the ears, and now you are in a really good spot. So like I'm surprised that more people aren't playing Dusklight, but whatever. Ears is like a necessity to have to play, and I could even see a point like if people start playing more Dusklight, probably cut boots in the deck and you put ears in the main. But I mean, it's like you have to play this card, which is annoying, but it's whatever. No one at Chicago ended up playing ears, or playing Dusklight, so like we could have greedily cut it. We had talked about greedily cutting it, but we decided that we didn't want to get got, so we played it. 2 Verdant Slime. This card's against Tristan. You just kill their Shadow's Claw or their boots before they have 5 counters, and you're in a pretty good spot. You can also bring it over Slime King against allies, just to be a more easily playable taunt card, which is pretty good. It was good in the mirror for killing Stone Scale bands, but that doesn't matter now because it's now 1 cost. So yeah, this card's fine. Wasn't crazy. 2 Slime Eruption. This card is a play extender for any kind of like race matchup. So Merlin, Slimes, Rye, basically is what we would bring it in against. The way that it extends your play is because you play it and you kill your own Storm Slime. Like you play Storm Slime, you shoot them for damage. You attack with it, then you play Slime Eruption, you kill it. And then you cycle 2 cards, draw 2 more cards. You got extra Slimes banished from it, so your next Storm Slime hits bigger. If they have like a taunt on board, you can play Slime Eruption to kill your Storm Slime response. It's on enter effect. Because then you banish the Slimes, and then their on death resolves, banishing more Slimes to your memory before it's on enter resolves, so then it shoots for even higher. Is pretty cool. So this card was in the main for quite a while, but with adding Bear to the main, we had a higher float count. So we didn't need the extra float in the main, and then we just needed room. This got cut for the two hit main. We just swapped them from these moved to the side, those moved to the main, which I think was the right call because like it's only really good in some matchups. But yeah, so this card was really good. So like this was fine. This we had to play. This was really good. 4th Songbird was really good. You just want it for those like kind of grindier matchups. You want it in the mirror. You want against basically anything that isn't allies. Basically any deck that isn't like aggro, you want Songbird against. 4th Bear, you want it for allies because it just wins the game against allies. This was really good. Then we run 4 Reprogram. This was for robots. If you draw a Reprogram, you basically win the matchup. If you don't draw it, you likely lose the matchup. So we ran 4. This card was really good. I played 2 robots, and I drew my programs, so I won those games. And then 2 Fast Cure. This was like a last-minute addition. If you've seen the Nico meme of Pickle Dancing, in the background, you see that I'm on my phone and Burner is like messing with his deck. Burner was actually going to sleeve up his Fast Cures, and I was adding Fast Cure to my Omnidex submission. This card that like we decided on basically morning of. Originally these were going to be 2 Resolute stands, and then in last minute testing we realized that like Resolute, it blocks more damage, but the influence lost was too much. And so having Fast Cure, just playing it on one of the earlier turns and using it to help level up, was just much more impactful. Because sometimes all you need is that like 4 health buffer, and then you just don't lose any extra life. So this card was really, really good. I wish we could have had room for the 4 Slime Shield. I kind of want to run the Slime Shield and then 1 Fast Cure, but I didn't like it in playing 1 Fast Cure. I didn't want to trim any of these to fit in the 4th Fast Cure, or the 2nd Fast Cure. So, unfortunately wasn't able to put in that last Slime Shield. I think, realistically, if I could have changed anything in the sideboard, cutting this would have been greedy, so it shouldn't have been cutting that. Probably would have cut like 1 Verdant Slime for the 1 Slime Shield, maybe. I think that's probably like the only thing I could have maybe done. Maybe even like done like a 3rd Fast Cure. Fast Cure did win me a game against Rye, which is pretty neat. He went for lethal, and I was able to Fast Cure just out of it, range of it, which was huge. So that was cool. So Fast Cure was good. It's also really good against we went up against Swarm allies and like aggro, like Fire Xander. Running against Erupting didn't actually do much there. I just got Erupted on, but well. So yeah, this card was pretty good. So like I'm very happy with this. This was pretty good. These were fine. And ears was a necessity. So yeah. But there's the deck. I think I talked about this before, but I've recorded this multiple times, so I'm not actually certain. The deck basically doesn't change with the Stone Scale nerf. It's still really good. You just have to be a bit more careful. You just can't shotgun out the Stone Scale bands. But the deck's still really good. You still play it. You don't really need to change the list at all. There's nothing that we really want to change. We talked about briefly playing Fire Slimes instead, just so you have the influence to help support the Stone Scale. But in our initial testing, we haven't really found that to really be necessary at all. If you see me playing Fire Slimes, it is legitimately just to use Vera. I think Norm Slimes is the better deck. You might see me playing Fire Slimes just to use this instead, though. Yeah, full transparency there. But yeah, the deck's really cool. Huge shout out to Pickle for like figuring out exactly kind of like how he wanted to go about building this deck. Just like the super high consistency game plan. And with the Songbirds, the Bears, those were all kind of like his realizations with the deck. The Meadow Bloom tech that Joquel, Neatful, and I don't know his name. I know the third person's name that was playing it. I'm so sorry. Beautiful Kai, I think. It was Beautiful Kai. I think it was the third person that was on their team that was like testing with the Metal Bloom tech from the online regionals. We think it's cool. There's some really cool things to do with it with Slime King, but we thought that it was sort of win more. Like the board states where you end up winning because you were able to put down a Metal Bloom early, we think you should be able to win anyways. And if you're in a bad position, drawing it doesn't help you get out of that position. So yeah, we thought there were just like other cards we wanted to play. It is cool though. I especially like that it's a tamer card once it dies, so you can use it for Ethereal Slime. And like if Storm Slime was banned, I would probably like it because like it plays into that like grindy game plan because like when it's good, it's really good. And so you kind of like can build for it, but yeah, so cool tech. But we did decide against running it intentionally. So yeah, so that's the deck. Hope everyone enjoyed my ramblings. This is a long video, so I apologize, but I wanted to kind of share like all my thoughts on slimes really, about like the deck from from a high level perspective of like what I view about slimes. I wanted to give all that perspective, how I feel about like all the cards in it, how I think the deck was way too pushed and way too good. But yeah, hopefully my power creep concerns are not going to be like realized. But yeah, so thank you everyone for watching. Looking forward to seeing everyone at Ascent Toronto for everyone that's going. Most chess club is going to be there. And yeah, it should be a great event, good fun event, 2 weeks into AMB format, exciting brews. I'm looking forward to see what people cook up. Take care, everyone.